Hello and welcome to another episode of the
Hello.
Plus 63 HP podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente, and alongside with me is my bestest best friend, Chubax. Hey, Chubax.
Hello, I'm Chubax. You can call me Papa in honor of Stranger Things tonight. Papa.
You know, shit, it does. But it's been a couple of weeks. We are back with a brand new episode. We are still tweaking our new format. But if this is your first time in the channel, welcome. Thank you very much for your view. As a housekeeping reminder, you can watch all of our shows in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/plus63hp. We have three shows. This review shows drops Mondays and Tuesdays, while we also record our very first ever D&D campaign, and that drops on Wednesdays. And on Thursdays, we have a curated lists of clips, featurettes, trailers of content that we may or may not be extremely hyped about. So you can join us along for all of the rides that we are providing you, whichever you prefer. You can follow us on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our handle is at plus63hp. And if you don't like watching us on video on demand, you can also listen to us on your favorite podcasting app. We prefer Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. Again, just search on that little search bar plus63hp. In the past couple of weeks, we've reformatted a little bit to provide a very concentrated
Dose.
discussion for a particular show or particular topic. And we are continuing all with that particular trend this week. This episode, I'm very excited to discuss with you the first half, but it's a little bit more than half, right? But
Yeah,
it is the first drop of Things season 4. And moving forward, we want to make sure that the people who haven't seen the shows yet will get our initial reaction. So we'll give you a reason to watch it or not watch it. And then we'll give you a spoiler warning once we go through the synopsis. And then we go dive deep into what we really, really liked about the show, what we didn't like, all the themes that we picked up, and continue the discussion with you. So without further ado, trying to keep our episodes tight and concise, we are now discussing Season 4, Part 1 of Stranger Things, turning the stage over to Chubax for the uninterrupted synopsis of the series. Chubax, take it away.
So 7 episodes. I'm gonna try to be as concise as I can, and well, there's gonna be spoilers. We can't help that, but I'm gonna miss a lot. But here we go. So, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do episode because that's gonna be too long. So we'll go with storylines. So
Yes,
first
love it.
storyline, Elle has basically 11 is now living in California with Joyce, adopted by Joyce. So she's living with Will and Jonathan, and she has no superpowers, and she's being bullied in school. We'll come back to this part, but she's being bullied in school because, of course, I mean, you can understand that she's different and
Mhm.
she's
She's
not
new.
used to normal. Yeah, so Mike visits California to be with Elle, Will, Jonathan, and the new character Argyle.
Argyle.
Elle gets in trouble for attacking the bully in the skating rink. Then Dr. Owens arrives and picks her up and says that things are happening in Hawkins, everybody's in danger, and we need her superpowers back. So he brings him home and brings him to a lab, and we have Papa, who is alive. D- Discuss this later, but I have questions. So, anyways, to get her powers back, she's put in the tank as usual. One of the what Stranger Things is known for, and 11. So she goes to the tank and she goes through a series of flashbacks where, at first, it's teased that she killed everybody in the lab, like all the other kids and stuff. And then, and as she's going through the flashbacks, we learn more and more in there. And then there's one guard who's helping him, played by Jamie Bowers Campbell. Did I say that
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
So he's being nice to her and the one helping her. And then in the end, the guard turns out to be one to her 11, who also turns out to be Victor Crill's son, who also turns out to be Vecna. It's so good.
Vecna. Yeah.
and who also turns out to be the one who killed everybody when they were trying to escape with L. And L sends him to the upside down, something like right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think that's what made the first gate, if I'm not mistaken.
So essentially, L was the one that sending Vecna or beating Vecna after he kind of killed everybody
Everybody.
in the training facility in the
Mm-hmm.
hospital was the one that caused a rift that sends Vecna to the upside down, and the upside down. So essentially, Hawkins was imprinted that day
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes
in the upside down.
that's clear. Okay. So, anyways, while all of these is happening, we go to Mike, Will, Jonathan, and Argyle. While Mike and Will and Jonathan were under the protection of some agents because there's another a bad general that's trying to kill or find Ellen, hintingly thinks that she's the one that's the cause of everything and wants to kill her.
Cause
They attack Mike, Will, and Jonathan at their house and kills the agents. There's a nice one the what they call it, one runner or one shotter.
one shotter or
Yeah, one
oneer.
shot, oneer. There we go, oneer.
Mhm.
And then with Argyle's help, they escape, and then they go to Susie Dustin's girlfriend in Utah. How far is California from Utah? Pretty. It's like half a
Maybe I
day.
was expecting maybe 8 hours
Okay.
ish. It's a long drive.
So,
Oh no,
anyways,
they said 13. They
okay.
said 13, right?
So,
Yeah.
anyways, with Susie's help, they have some clues, and they're just trying to. And basically, the story is just they're trying to find Elle, and I think at the end they find a location, right, or something.
Yep.
Okay, and then
Yep.
so that's them. Then the next storyline is Joyce. While everything's happening with her kids, she receives a message from Russia, and it ends up being a message that Hopper's alive, and for 40,000, someone will help him get back
Smuggle.
to Earth. Yeah, will smuggle him. So Joyce smartly calls Murray, who's becoming one of my favorite characters ever. Because in between season
Oh.
3 and 4, he's now a karate expert. And then, so they go to the pilot. That's the friend of the guy who's asking for money, Enzo. So this Yuri is the pilot, and he betrays Joyce and Murray and Enzo and Hopper. So he gets the money. He tells the prison commander about what happened to what Enzo was planning, and then Hopper, and the pilot drugs Joyce and Murray bring for more money. One brings them to Russia, but they escape. They crash the plane, and then Hopper tries to an escape plan, but it's captured. Ends up with Enzo, and as their punishment, Enzo, Hopper, and a few other prisoners they do like a gladiator match against a demigorgon.
A good Demogorgon.
And at the same time, Joyce Murray, this was so smart because he kind of looks like Yuri. So Joyce
And
Murray,
nobody really knew
yeah,
what the smuggler looks like. So
yeah.
that's a
So
good play. I didn't even actually catch that.
Murray, pretending to be Yuri, brings a captured Yuri and Joyce to the prisoner to infiltrate it. They are able to wreak havoc that enables Hopper and Enzo to survive and escape the Demigorgon, and they end up together, but still in the prison. And then, so that's the third storyline. Now we go back to Hawkins, where Lucas is a basketball varsity player. Pretty cool, he's really cool. He was in the bench, but by the
Mhm.
finals game, he's able to play in the crucial moments. But this basketball game is in conflict with Dustin, and Mike,
Uh,
Dustin. Is there somebody else? Uh,
Eddie? No,
no,
just them
in
too.
their group. So Mike Dustin. Okay, it was supposed to be Mike Dustin and Lucas, but Lucas has to play the game. So Mike and Dustin have to tell their new dungeon master Eddie, a senior, that he can't go. So they bring Erica along as replacement, and they have this cool montage scene. Basketball in D&D. Like, who would have imagined that there would be that amazing back and forth where Lucas shoots the championship, the basket to win the championship, and Erica rolls a nat 20 for the win against Vecna. It was so cool. This whole shot. And then
It's just funny that I think we get this little troop. If we did not start our D&D a few years ago or last year, I think it didn't hit as hard
eh,
as this year into like the scheduling,
agreed.
the
Yeah.
finding the next player, how important the game was. It's almost done with the storyline. It's like, all right, I get it, I get it.
Yeah, so as newly uh rookie D&D players, we really appreciate this part. Anyways, through this basketball game and the D&D, we meet Jason, the star basketball player, the captain, and
Mhm.
his girlfriend Chrissy, a cheerleader, a typical one. But then Chrissy has been having visions of something, and to so she's really bothered by it, and she wants drugs, and their drug man is in the school is Eddie. So she kind of buys drugs from him. But then that's when Vecna does his first kill. While they're together, he kills Chrissy, and Eddie becomes the number one suspect. So we have this storyline where Jason and the basketball team, including Lucas, is trying to hunt down Eddie, while the Sherlock Holmes group of Dustin, Maya, Dustin, Robin, Steve, Nancy, and Max are trying to help Eddie or find Eddie and then help him try to hide, and they're trying to investigate Vecna. So, anyways, Vecna is fine to be targeting people with traumatic experiences, especially people who have experienced loss and stuff. So she goes for Chrissy, and then she goes for Nancy's uh, assistant, uh, another reporter from the school paper that's with her. I think Fred. What was his name?
I think Fred too did with the
So
scrawny
yeah,
guy.
so one guy, another guy, and his third target was Max because Max lost Billy and she's not doing well. Throughout the season, she's been isolating herself, which was really well done. I think with Lucas and stuff, and then we have this one great episode where as Vecna kills, he kind of brings their mind to the upside down, and the way that they investigated it was Nancy talked to Victor Creel, the only known survivor. Well, he was incarcerated because he thought they people thought that he killed his family, which was like Vecna's first kills many years ago, and they got the clue that the way to escape Vecna's grasp is to follow a song or something that speaks to
Music,
you,
yeah.
or music. So with that help and with the Dustin and Steve and Lucas's help, before Max is killed, they're able to help her with her song, and she was able to escape. And that's so. And then that's and at the end, um, so Steve, Nancy, Robin, Eddie, Max, and Lucas eventually, and Erica's with them, right? Yeah, and Erica.
Yeah. Mm.
So as they're investigating, they find another gate in the under the lake.
The
So
Watergate.
basically, yeah. So basically, every time Vecna kills someone, it leaves a gate. So they find a gate in the water where one of the basketball players was killed, and then the adults, Steve, Nancy, or they're not adults yet, they're teenagers. The older people,
Yeah.
Steve, Nancy, Robin, and Eddie, end up in upside down, while the younger ones are captured or brought back home by the police. And together, they're able to figure out that there's another gate where Chrissy was dead. So as they're bringing them back out, we were revealed that Nancy was the latest target,
Mhm.
and that's where we end there's the storyline, and that's that was a lot, but that's basically 14 minutes, not bad. That was basically 7 episodes of Stranger Things, and it's really long. I think by 7 episodes, it's already longer than any of their seasons before. Because a lot of them is like an hour 15, an hour 12. The last episode was an hour 40, so it's really stacked with storylines, stacked with characters,
Mhm.
stacked with horror.
And that's where again the discuss the we should start our discussion because like for the people watching the show, for the people listening, should you watch Stranger Things? Like, should you watch Stranger Things season 4, part 1? Should you finish it off with season 2? So on paper, when this season came out and they started showing first
Trailer.
the episode length of every episode, usually you'd say, awesome, the longer it is, the better, more
Mm-hmm.
content, yada, yada, yada. So, but that in combination with seeing new posters with even newer characters from an already bloated cast, I was initially very dubious. Like when I was looking at this, like, maybe it's no longer the bingeable show that I remembered it would be. Like I know there
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit of weakness in the middle seasons, but first and second season, I binged those despite me not liking all the 80s stuff. I'm not a big
Oh, I love it.
nostalgia 80s fan. I just don't, it's not necessarily the nostalgia that I don't like. I just don't like the aesthetic,
I
right?
love it.
But when I saw Stranger Things 1, hooked, hooked, super hooked. I thought it was for kids, but it is, but it's not too. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
layers. But coming through the fourth season where there's a lot of delays, there's people are changing so fast. I was very, very dubious, and I really thought that when this came out, that's why we didn't do a week on week episode on this, because I figured it's gonna be like you'll watch one, I'll watch one. Maybe we'll watch two one
We won't be
weekend,
in
maybe
sync.
another one. Oh no, I finished this in 2 days. Despite that many episodes, it was really, really good. What you
For
think about?
for me, we took it like maybe a week and a half because I watched it with my daughter. So and
Mm.
we can't binge it because she can't sleep late, and then my wife also has work. So we're like we have a 2 hour window during the day where we can all watch together. So yeah, I love it. I mean, unlike you, I love the 80s aesthetic. I love the horror yet kids thing like the Goonies vibe.
Mhm.
And was I worried? I don't know. It's like I guess I was a little worried because I mean, as you said, the bloated gas already even got bloated, more bloated.
Mm.
And then there's like what, at least five, six running storylines. I mean, I may
Yep.
have combined something, but it shouldn't work on paper. It shouldn't work. But my God, there's just magic in here. There's just
Yep.
I think it's just a combination of great casting, great characterization. So even I think it's not a stumble, but it's just Millie Bobby Brown exercising too much power with the bullying scene. It was just too
Mhm.
much, too mean. Like
Yep.
I understand if one or a few people can be really mean, but like a whole skating rink, people
Yep.
being really mean to one person, that was too much. But it's still it may have been too much, but it still served purpose, in the story. And I think the one of the reasons that they work is just their chemistry together. Even
Yep.
the different dynamics. Like we have Mike, Will, and Jonathan one side. Even though not everybody's doing something very significant to the storyline, just seeing them there together, the hijinks, it helps levitate, makes it a little happier, so that when you get to the parts that are dark, you know. So
The the this is one of those series that shows that there's a very, very strong writing pool, and there's also a very deliberate, very planned out show. Like the showrunners really was on top of everything, because like what you mentioned, there's so many storylines, and we no longer have the nuclear cast interacting with each other. Like even like Elle and what's the name
Dustin,
of and Will,
yeah.
right? They're like one group. Even the adults like Winona Ryder and then Red Guardian and Murray are a different storyline and a different locale. We have the druggies,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Will Argyle and what's his name? So many names do I forget. But there's those are big risks to show people that you don't know if that little crew within the crew will click. But they most of it's not perfect, like what you said. It's not
Yes,
perfect. There's
there's
the bullying of L is a little bit
Over the
super
top.
heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course, there's like certain details, like forgetting that it was Will's birthday, and Will's one of the main characters, was one of the things that trended on Twitter when the season started. Also, uh, what's Nance's boyfriend's name? Like,
Jonathan.
yeah, so Jonathan severely took a back step in this season. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
barely had any lines. He barely had a little bit anything to do. But I mean,
Role.
the growth, you can see the growth. Like, you can see, like, oh shit, like he's becoming a better older brother, more responsible despite being like high all the time. So there's a lot of things there that did not hit 100%, but it was still really good. You know, the
It,
risk of introducing Eddie and then
but
paying off as one of the coolest characters,
I
right?
mean,
Because I thought he was
even
weird too to start.
even Enzo, I liked him,
Oh, that's true.
right? So
And from Game of Thrones, like, so Enzo is the person, the guard that kind of was helping uh Red Guardian
Hopper,
or
yeah.
Hopper to
I
escape.
think
So
a good way to say this is like, remember when we talked about the Snyder cut, Zack Snyder, where he takes like
mm,
uh every 2 steps forward he has like a half step back or something,
mm,
or like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. This one is like there's a step back, but then there's like two forward. So it's like there's
good for him.
some stuff that, like, if you break it down, the flashback scene of Elle in the tank, that was way too stretched. There were so many flash times in, like, she's in the tank, she's out, then she's go back in again, and then she's out, then she go back in. But the scenes that we do get in the stories are really good. Like her going up against two, her interactions with one are always great.
Good one.
So even though like the scenes outside of it were like, oh, she's out again, okay, and they're gonna talk again, and then she's gonna go back again. It's like they did that rinse repeat too many times, but everything that we got inside was so good.
If,
So
yeah, I mean, the entire season, could they have trimmed it to an hour or 40, 50-minute episodes each? They could have, but sometimes, the Disney Plus problem right now is it doesn't feel of high quality, right? So this one, you really know that Netflix really spent a lot
mhm.
of money. It's like, from what I read, it was like 20 to 30 million dollars per episode. So this entire season, 9 episode, is 200 to 250 million dollars. That's a big budget movie. That's a Marvel level type of movie. So
But
they were able to experiment with a lot of things.
yeah, but not just budget wise. Like as you said, it's like the anti Disney, because in Disney's like you can breathe because everything's happening so much, and here you can breathe.
Yep.
Okay, we're done with this. We're going back here. We can relax again a little bit, see what's happening here, and then this one gets intense, we go back and relax again with
Back
another
there. Yeah,
setup.
exactly.
So
It's well
it's
paced. And that's the thing. It's not balanced. Definitely there are some storylines that was more fun, was more interesting, was more important to the series than the others. There are characters that we've forgotten that are kind of like in the back burner. That's all true. But in the end, you've said it perfectly. Each one of these storylines we can cleanly follow. Like,
mhm.
one, giving them their own storyline was inherently a risk because you're splintering the series into multiple storylines that, some people who just wants to get enjoy might not be able to follow that much. But they did it in such a way, gave it enough time to make sure that we can follow and enjoy every storyline completely. Maybe we like one storyline better than the other. Like, I love the Nance, um the
The
Eddie.
mental institute. Uh,
Yeah, I love
Rob.
that group. Like Robin, I fucking love Robin. I love the dynamics of all the characters that they put in there. It's very refreshing. Like, it's about, there's some sexuality there, but it's not heavy-handed. There's
I love
um
Dustin was like, how many times do you have to you trust me? How many times I did to do
100%.
that?
And even, like, we haven't even mentioned that we have tools there to reinforce both things, to reinforce that, hey, people, this is still supernatural, so this is not normal, like the jock crew, the basketball player crew, and even the Lucas's sister, right? She is our surrogate in terms like, you also crazy, we don't know what, if you don't tell me what's happening, I'm gonna, tell everybody that you also are lying. But you show them, like, the magic, being able to communicate from through light, in the upside
Mm-hmm.
down and the regular Hawkins. So, like, all right, there we are being guided on how these things go.
And
But also, I
I
love
even
the Dustin part of
yeah.
like, dude, like, just
How
trust me
many
on this one.
and
How many times do I have to prove you?
I actually forgot that the rules were already established in season one, right? Because like,
Yep.
wait, he
Mm-hmm.
can hear him, but oh shit, Joyce could hear.
Mm-hmm.
I Will could hear Joyce a little bit, right? But
Yep.
but Joyce couldn't hear him, so he had to do the light. So it's like so good. And
I yeah.
even with the at first, like when one was coming out, I was like, uh, they kind of lost. They kind of what was this? They lost a little magic when they said that he was Vecna from the
Mm-hmm.
start or something. Like I think it got out that he was Vecna, but then the reveal that he's also one, that he's also Victor Creel's
One.
son, and he's also
Yep.
So it's like that was just so good how they did it.
And to be honest, I, as soon as that little creepy orderly was like trying to help ill, I already knew that he was one. Like, I already know that he was one. I kind of also felt that he was going to be either connected or Vecna himself. What I was surprised with me was like, I thought it was some form of like Victor Creel. Yeah, I didn't
He
guess
was the
the
son.
Victor Creel connection, and I didn't clearly see, like, when they started explaining that the reason why Hawkins is in the upside down, and at that particular time, when, that date that Will was missing, right? Because that was the same date that uh L transported one to the upside down, essentially imprinting that day, that version of
Hawkins.
Hawkins to upside down. It's like, oh, perfect. It makes sense. Everything makes sense. Why certain things in the upside down are there and certain things are
Or
not. So
not.
because it was point in time. And of course, like, all these things, is it took a while. It was later in the season, but it started becoming clear. Of course, also, like, the very very first episode, we see the allusion to L killing everybody, which
Mm-hmm.
obviously was not. And if you watch enough shows, you can say, like, you can't have, the main character kill anybody, because that's you can never go back from that, regardless of whether it was an
But
accident. So,
I, I doubted it also, but they did like push it a little bit, like especially with her attacking the
and
girl.
that's what I did not like. The reason that I guess that it wasn't L killing all the other test subjects in Papa's house is because that was like, you can't keep on going back to this, like, El bloody knows everybody did, walking around making her think that she killed everybody, and make her keep coming back to that same memory. So in my head, I already know, so, oh, there's going to be a memory where it's either someone else or it was something else accident, and El was actually trying to save
Mm.
everyone. And it was just too long, because like, when you saw it in the first episode and you didn't see the resolution till like episode 6, episode 7. But all of that to say is, I like that everything makes sense. Like, the rules of the world was established in season 1. Like, I was listening to another podcast discuss about the breakdown of episode 7. Like, what had happened to Will? Like, how did Will come out, and how did Will talk through the light? So Will was kept singing that song, that his favorite song with his brother, so that kind of
Mm-hmm.
helped him not be consumed by Vecna or whatever monster they have in the upside down. And and again, the lights as well, I started working on it. So it's one of those things where I'm glad that they, and also the trivia here is like, they took additional time to do some reshoots and rewrites because of COVID. There was a lot of delays, so they were able to really massage a few of the storylines to be a little bit more simple and clear. And I think it helped a lot making sure that you craft uh, very very clean stories with the Els storyline, the Russia storyline, the Finding Vecna storyline, like
Mhm.
all in the Victor Creel storyline. And I'm also happy, or I'm surprised that I enjoyed the fact that the Duffer Brothers was very very they were very liberal in borrowing or copying all of these 80s horror.
Hellraiser. Yeah.
Yeah, Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, even
Mhm.
putting in Freddy Krueger himself
Mhm.
as
Robert Englund.
Victor Creel, right? So they were very very deliberate, but in a respectful way. Like they weren't
Mhm.
hiding that they were trying to do something. It was like, no, we're just literally going to steal Nightmare on Elm Street. Somebody's killing you in your dreams and leaving a portal whenever, whatever. It's like it's very very clear on all of these things, clear from fucking D&D. Like, I love the
Mm.
idea that they also explained that, how, like, because in my head it's like, how do you know the name's Vecna? It's like, no, 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 his name is not Vecna. They're just using Vecna from D&D
D&D.
as a way to, as kids, for them to understand what is happening, you have to relate it in a way that they understand. So they're using D&D monsters,
Names.
D&D
Yeah.
storylines, so that it is easily digestible. But people, it's like when that was like, oh
That
shit,
was so good. Yeah. But it
that's so
also,
good.
I think, it also helps that they've always said that they have a path anyway. They have a
Mhm.
loose path. They know the story, the major beats, and then they just like edit their way, and oh, this looks better, so they go this way. But they know all the tolls, the hit signs. They know where to go. Like
Mhm.
one of the big changes was like Steve, I think, because he was supposed to die in season.
Oh my god,
You know,
Steve is the
but
best
like
heel turn that I've ever
right,
witnessed in a Netflix series. Like, I love fucking Steve.
I know.
I don't like them trying to shoehorn Steve and Nance again because I'm a big Jonathan
I
fan.
was gonna say that also, but I was like, at first I was like, why are they doing this again? And like, we already did this in the like for second season where she clearly likes Jonathan, but then she swerved to Steve, and then she waited for Jonathan, but Jonathan was like helping Will recover. So that's when they got back in season two, I think, right? When they started getting
I
back
think so,
together.
yeah.
So now she's going back to see. But if you think about it, from all our experience, there's always a way of reconnect, especially if one is long distance, and then you meet your ex again and you spend time with her. It just it happens.
No.
It
And
happens.
yeah, and I'm also like, that's one of the weaker storylines that I've seen, but I'm because I they gained so much trust building the story. I'm very very excited to see where it goes. Again, it's only going to be a few more weeks until we get the last two episodes, and they have already announced that there's just going to be one more season left to close everything out.
Season five.
So to close this episode out, Chabas, what is your like favorite storylines and favorite characters for season 4, part 1 of Stranger
Ooh,
Things?
ooh, ooh, ooh. Very hard. So maybe let's go with top three characters.
Yeah.
Top three characters. Chubax. I gotta go with Dustin. Gotta go with Robin. And you gotta go with Steve. And then rookie of the year is Eddie. I thought it was gonna be Argyle, but then I guess from the trailers I didn't separate
Ah,
them. I thought he was like one character. I thought Argyle was also the D&D guy.
no.
But then yeah, so it's Eddie. So the favorite storyline was the investigating Vecna. So it's like and oh shit. Fuck. I gotta put Max here. Max my favorite.
That was
I
mine.
know. I was like, fuck, I forgot. Investigating Vecna by the with the Sherlock crew. I don't know what they call them. And you?
That's my favorite storyline too, but more of the getting the getting Nance, Steve, Eddie back from and Robin back from the Upside Down.
Uh-huh.
That beat when the older teenagers were stuck in the Upside Down by going through the water gate, and they need to come back from the trailer gate, and seeing how the cool physics of them roping up to the
Oh,
roof,
the
to the hole,
Dust,
and then
Dustin
falling
again.
down,
That was Dustin
right?
again.
Yeah, so yeah, that's my favorite storyline because it cleared a lot of things about the Upside Down, what it was, who Vecna was,
Okay, top three
how
characters.
he yeah. Top three characters. Max was my breakout star this season. It's weird because like I don't like the brooding teenager,
Mm-hmm.
broke up with Lucas, trying to be cool. But I do like the idea how they showed guidance counselors actually have some use in a school. Like, it was kind of like in school therapy, which was great. And it was useful. Like it wasn't overly dramatized. It was just like, hey, you have to talk to me and just tell me what you feel. I like that idea. So Max is my top character. The Robin Steve Dustin combo is
Mm.
priceless to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Priceless. So I did a tweet where I would do Robin, uh Max, Dustin, and Nance as Fantastic Four, right? So Robin could be, Max could be, sorry, Steve could be Mr. Fantastic. Nance can be, uh, bless you. Nance could
Sorry.
be
Two Storm.
Sue Storm. And then instead of Johnny Storm, you can have Joni Storm, and that could be Max. And Dustin could be Thing. Like that shot of them in the uh VHS store in the Blockbuster, right? And they were trying to
Yeah.
figure out where Eddie would like who was Eddie's supplier via profiling who the
The
people
movies that
that
they watched.
movies that they watch. That was quite genius, quite genius. So I really love that crew. Um, and then my rookie of the year is, of course, Eddie is going to have to be a rookie of the year. But again, I really do want to shout out Chrissy, because Chrissy and Eddie interaction in the park was heartwarming a little bit. Where this like the lead cheerleaders is buying drugs from the three-time senior outcast of the high school, and then they had a good bond about who they were when they were kids, and they were both scared of each other. Like the cheerleader is scared of the
And
outcast
I
druggie,
kind of
and the
like it.
druggie was scared of the
I like
popular
that they didn't push that in like a sexual romantic way. It
no,
was just like
yeah.
two people connecting again from before. So
And like
that
there's
also,
more to people
yes,
being in
it's,
an confined space than just sexual attraction. There's just a lot more. Like they both had trauma, they both are struggling through things, and they're both just trying to get away from whatever difficulty they have. So that was like,
so
for me,
good.
very poetic that we ever twice. But yeah, so like this is such a it's weird because like we knew that this was going to be great, but we didn't know that it was going to be great
Mm-hmm.
this way, at least on my end. I'm glad that they're dumping a lot of money
And
there.
even
Any last thoughts?
just
Uh,
talking about it, I want to watch it again.
yeah, I want to watch it again, but
I
it's
want it
so
again.
long. So I'm gonna wait for somebody on YouTube to do a supercut of the cool scenes of like
Or
Steven Dustin, the Dustin supercut. I'll do that.
I'll just have it in the background while reading or something. So I'll score this as a 9.
Ah,
So very
I
high.
yeah, I too. Well, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm scoring it as a 9 too, because it's the production quality, it's the storylines, the acting. It's not perfect. It's not a masterpiece, but it's up there. It is one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where um I was hesitant to suggest Stranger Things. Like if I were to have a girlfriend and we're gonna marathon an entire franchise, an entire series, right? Not just like the latest season. Will season 4 of Stranger Things be reason enough for somebody to watch Stranger Things from season 1? And I think so. Like
Mhm.
the strength of season 1 and bit of season 2 will carry you through the faltering in late season 2, season 3,
Oh,
and then
I
get you
love
back.
season 3. Right.
Season 3 was still that's where they blew up a little too much, right? You know, because like you had Dustin's girlfriend. There's still and I think that was it. We needed that so that we have this clear baseline
Mhm.
of, of season 4, and I think it's perfect. It's perfect that we have one more season. Like, at least
And
we know Vecna is
then
a big boss, but there might be a bigger boss after that. And I'm really looking forward to how they're going to tackle that.
yeah, because I was surprised with that because I thought Vecna was gonna be the main, like the man behind the scenes, but the way
Mhm.
Dustin said it, it's still the mind flayer.
Yeah, I mean, but also the idea that it was very clear that even in D&D, Vecna is a high general. He's
Yeah,
not
he's
the
not the
final boss.
big bad.
So and I want to see how are they going to kind of introduce the big boss. Maybe it's new, or maybe it's the mind flayer, or maybe the mind flayer distilled on what it is, and how everybody gets to do it. Like, I hope they're smart enough to not do the Elle is gonna sacrifice herself again, yada 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 thing. And or maybe it's Ellen Will or whatever. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited for season 5. And I didn't think I was gonna be this hyped because I wasn't hyped season 4. Like I was like, I'll watch it when it comes out. We'll discuss this on the podcast. That's it. But right now I'm like, I'm really looking like, oh my god, like I have it on my calendar. I'm gonna block those days so that I can binge the last
Dude,
2 episodes.
what if like because they did say like they want or they plan or they hope that maybe after season 5 they do Stranger Things again like in 20 years after 20
Yeah,
years. What if
I
what if they do
I'm
that?
totally down for that.
What if they do that and then at the end of season 5 like they do the Thanos snap like half of them like die but
Mhm.
then in 20 years they all come back or somehow or something but like that thing that where they die in season 5 like fuck.
I hope that they are Netflix is brave enough to do something like that, because that's a problem. Like, we kind of assume that they're not gonna kill kids, or maybe maximum of one.
But
So
they're
I'm
not.
thinking either Will
Yeah,
or
but
L.
I think by season 5 they're not gonna be that kiddie anymore.
They're not, but still, they're still in high school.
There's well they can time jump, so we don't know what they're planning.
Okay, well,
Right?
that's another brave thing that they will need to do too, is to do a time jump,
Because
right?
if I were them, maybe like get maybe 5 darts and then put all their pictures in the wall and then just who's gonna die? Yeah, goodbye, man.
Um, I'm
But
excited, and
yeah,
yeah, and
we'll we'll come back to
final
this
thought.
once we do part
Yeah,
2.
we'll
So
do. We'll
final.
definitely do. So this is part 1 of our Stranger Things recap. We hope that you joined the discussion. And if you've seen it, tell us what you think. And if we'll definitely do the last 2 episodes once it comes out. So we'll schedule that as well. Final thoughts, Chubax.
Yeah. Stranger Things is the mom. If you haven't seen it, go. There's 3 4 seasons, three seasons to catch up with, and then come join us at the fourth. You're not gonna regret it.
Awesome. And again, as a reminder, if you have not subscribed yet, please do just hit that little red button saying subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Maybe hit that notification bell so you're informed when the next episodes are dropping, whether it is our reviews episode, our D&D episodes, or our trailer reactions episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next week.